What's up, guys? Welcome to part 2 of the Halloween special coding Herobrine. I really hope you guys did enjoy the last episode, but I will be continuing from where we left off. We're replaying the video. Hope you all enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Next up, and finally, is our scary handler. This is gonna have two methods in here, and it's gonna handle the whole scary effect. It's gonna have a private final called Halloween, and this is just an instance of our main class, and then the constructor, we're initializing it with Halloween plugin. This dot plugin equals plugin. So we're gonna have an instance of our main class. This is so our runnables can work, really. I mean, we could make it static, but I prefer to have this constructor right here. And the first one was, let's do this one. Public void start. So when the server starts up, it's gonna run this method right here. This is how I coded it. You all can go ahead and make it a little different if you want. But for the sake of this tutorial, whenever the server starts up, it's gonna run this method. And what this method is gonna do, it's just gonna have a runnable in here to schedule sync repeating task. Make sure you have that sync repeating task. It is repeating. And we're passing plugin, which is the instance of our main class right here. And our argument 1 will be a new runnable. And then press space, open curly brace, and then press enter. Arg2 will be when it starts. So I want it to start 40 tickets after our server starts, after the plugin is initialized. Our arg3 will be how much does it repeat. Now, like I said, it is 20 ticks per second, so it's 20 ticks times per second. So if you want it to repeat every minute, have it pick a new person to haunt, go ahead and do that. Every 5 minutes, you know how many seconds that'll be. I'm gonna do 15 seconds. So every 15 seconds, it's gonna haunt someone. And I'm only doing that because when I'm beta testing something, I wanna make it happen fast because I don't wanna wait a whole minute to see if it works or not. So I'm gonna do 15 seconds. Next up, hover over the runnable, press add methods. We can remove this override right here. We can remove this comment. And inside here, we're gonna say if. So this if statement right here is what I'm talking about. It won't really mess up our server. So if there is no players online, then return. Otherwise, I don't wanna look through all these players. Now, this next line of code is kind of complicated. I did go over it, I think on episode 3 or 2. No, wait, no, it was episode 1. I think it was a tag plugin. So we're gonna get a random online player. To do this, I'm gonna go into the bucket.getOnlinePlayers. I'm going to stream the values. Then I'm going to skip. This kind of is how the whole random thing works. I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna pass in an integer because I want to say another parentheses. I'm going to say bucket.getOnlinePlayers.size. I'm going to move this down a line for y'all. So I'm going to get the size of the players because that's going to be the maximum amount of players it could be. If there's 100 players on the server, it's going to be 100 times math.random, this is why we casted it int, because math.random is a double. Math.random, and we're going to go out of all of that, and we're going to say, am I missing something? I think we're missing a parentheses. We're going to go, so it'd be 3 parentheses right there, and we're going to say dot find first dot or else null. And like I said before, we really don't need to worry about the or else. I'm just doing that just in case. So if you do get a null player, you kind of know where it came from. So that'll pick one lucky player on your server to be haunted from a random out of the list of the players that are online. But they won't actually be haunted unless they are in nighttime. So I'm gonna say player.getWorld.getTime. If that is greater than or equal to 14,000 ticks, that means they are gonna be haunted. You know what? In my main class, I didn't even do extends Java plugin yet. I don't have anything in here. So let's go ahead and do extend Java plugin real quick, and then we're gonna have a void. All right, there we go. I was getting a little red underline right here because I didn't extend Java plugin yet. But okay, so once we have this right here, so if they are in nighttime, so if the ticket is greater than or equal to 14,000, that means they are in nighttime. So then we're gonna execute player. Execute is going to be a custom method that we're gonna code right now. I know the video is running at 30 something minutes, so I'm gonna try to code this up real quick. Execute player. So whenever we have that lucky player, we want to spawn in our Herobrine. So this is what really nice is that when we create all these objects, we're able just to call upon them and have them do the stuff we wanted to do. So we're going to create our Herobrine right here. Once we have our Herobrine created, let's go ahead and say Brian.spawn. I named it Brian, you can name it whatever you want. Once we spawn it in, we actually need to make all these different effects and slow down our player and all that stuff. So player.add potion effect, a new potion effect, pass in potion effect type dot blindness, and I'm gonna say comma, and I'll put this in parentheses so y'all can know 40 times 20, and then I'm gonna go out of there and say 1. So it's gonna be a level 1 potion. Go ahead and import everything. It's 40 times 20. That means the potion effect will run 4 seconds. I like to do it like this just so that later on, if you want to have a config where you can actually pass in some variable here and say seconds times 20, whatever. But our blindness effect is going to run for 4 seconds. Once we have that blindness effect, let's say player.set sprinting to false. And this is really important. We got to make sure we spawn them in before we set the false, because our spawn method, like you see it here, it checks if they're sprinting. So we don't want to set the false because then it'll always be a distance of 1.5. So make sure you spawn it in and then you set sprinting the false. And then we're going to say player.set walking speed to 0.0f, 0.01f. That's going to make it real slow for him. And then we're going to say if player.is flying. So if they are flying, we want to make sure we slow them down too. Set fly speed to the same value, 0.1f. And then we're going to have that player.play sound at player.getLocation. I really love the sound, how the sounds work in Spigot. It's pretty cool. But the sound that I chose to play is the entity Ender Dragon. Ender Dragon Hurt. And I'm playing it at volume 1.0f. And I'm playing it at pitch 0.2f. So the way the sounds work, I played around with this for like 45 minutes. When he spawns in, he makes this loud thud. So I have the dragon hurt noise, but I changed the pitch of it to make it really deep. So it has this loud thud. And then in another runnable we're about to create in a second, it's going to have a breathing effect that I made it deeper too. And it's going to repeatedly breathe to make it a little scarier. But next up, before we can do that, let's create an instance of our packet sender. We'll call it packets, set equal to a new packet sender. Pass in player, pass in our brine.getNPC. And we'll say packets.send. So just like that, our NPC, our Herobrine is spawned in, it's haunting our player. However, we want it to end eventually. We can't have them just sit there and haunt them the whole time. So we create another runnable, a bucket runnable. Go down to this last curly brace and say .run task timer. Pass it into our plugin 0. Inside here, I'm gonna have an int called count set equals 0 because I want to count every single tick to make sure I remove it after a certain amount of ticks. And then we'll have a public void run and whatever's in this method right here is going to run repeatedly. So what we're going to say is if we'll do this one. So if count mod by 10 equals 0, let's go ahead and play a sound. So we're going to copy this right here. Sorry, I'm trying to move as fast as I can because I don't want the video to be too long. But we're going to play another sound. Instead of this whole drag and hurt, we're going to play a entity player breathe sound. So it's going to breathe. I'm going to say 0.7 and instead of 0.2, 0.5. Like I said, I played around with this a little bit. This is the volume. This is the pitch. So why is it mod by 10? So every 10 ticks, it's going to play the sound. So it's going to play the sound 6 different times. And it kind of makes it a little continuous, which is kind of nice the way I like it. If you wanted to, we can kind of affect the pitch. We can even decrease the pitch or increase the pitch based on the ticks, which is kind of cool. Y'all can play around with that. But after we play that sound every 10 ticks, we also need to have an if statement saying if it's greater than or equal to 60 ticks, let's go ahead and kill or remove NPC. Not kill him, we're removing him. But before we can remove them, let's make sure we, fix our players so they're not stranded there walking at 0.1 or 0.01. So we're setting them back to the normal walking speed of 0.2, which is speed 2. And we're to set if the player dot is flying, then we're to set that player dot set fly speed back to the same speed, 0.2. And we're going to say packets dot remove. And then finally, we're going to have this cancel method. And this is going to cancel this runnable right here. Make sure you have that. Otherwise, you're going to have a million different threads that really doesn't do anything. It's going to have a million different threads running. And then finally, last but not least, packets dot update player dot get location count plus plus. And we are almost done. Go into the main class, and all we're gonna have to say in here is our scary handler equals a new scary handler. This handler dot start. We are done. Man, that was kind of a long video. I'm so sorry. It is coding Herobrine that does a lot of stuff, but I really hope you guys did enjoy this video and did learn something new. What's super nice about having all these different methods and all these different object classes is that we're able to say packets.update here, and that will handle all our packets. So if you look in our it's kind of like our listener, I guess. It's our handler. There is no version dependent imports. So nice. So all our version dependent imports are in their own class. They're in their own class right here. This way, y'all can go ahead and check out my other videos about reflection and about abstract, so you can create this plugin and make it work in all versions of Minecraft. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and run this on my server and we'll see how it's working. All right, now on the server, time.night, every 15 seconds, our Herobrine should appear. Oh, and there it is. Oh, it does have the skin. Oh, I forgot to change that. So if we go into our Herobrine code, right where we got our skin, let's make sure we scroll over here and we remove this. Set it to nothing, so we don't have any ID there. All right, now that the name is actually removed, it is pretty damn scary. I think it's as scary as we can probably get it. We can maybe do some more things to it, but making Minecraft scary is kind of hard to do. But I think we did a pretty decent job. Oh geez, oh my god, at adding Herobrine into the server. Hope you all did enjoy this video. Go ahead and check out my other videos. I do have a lot coming your way. I do have the Bed Wars series coming, so do not worry, it's coming very soon. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.